Hey guys, I was just kind of sitting here reflecting on um, my life and since I've left the organization and um, how when you leave the organization that you are no longer under Jehovah's protection and how your life is supposed to fall apart. You're supposed to get involved in drugs and alcohol and you're going to become, homeless and your life's just going to be a mess without the organization. So, I wanted to talk about my life since leaving the organization um, and the blessings that have come to me since leaving the organization. So many things. First of all, I feel really fortunate that I have a belief system. I still believe in God, and I'm thankful for that. I know everybody has their own path and their own journey, and that's okay. I have mine, and I'm very thankful for it, actually. So, and I didn't have it. The ironic part is that I didn't really have a spiritual life inside the Kingdom Hall. It was a strive and fail relationship when it came to God and serving God and doing well in the organization, or it just wasn't a loving relationship, or it wasn't even a relationship at all. I felt in the organization that I didn't even begin to come close to measuring up, and I felt like God didn't really want anything to do with me. He washed his hands of me. I hung in there on the hopes that maybe I would, he would have mercy on me and let me in with everybody else. But to be honest, if I stood on my own merits, I was extremely shy, extremely awkward socially, and I just couldn't, wasn't really like a chit chatter. So I'd walk in and I'd smile and say hi to everybody, but it really kind of ended there. I really didn't have much to say. I didn't have much going on in my life. It was just a tiny little world. I just went to work. I came home, went to the meeting, dragged myself to the meeting or forced myself to go to the meeting, and that was kind of it. I didn't enjoy service. I didn't join the ministry school because I'm shy, and I really couldn't grasp some of the teachings didn't make sense to me, and so I really didn't have a leg to stand on. Um, so I couldn't force myself to do that. I was very shy, and there's just no way I was going to go on stage. And we had some really hammy, cheesy sisters in the hall. I mean, we're talking about sisters that go up there with a bowl and a spoon because they're baking a cake when somebody knocks on their door, and they're standing there I mean, they're like really getting into this. I mean, like giving it their full 100% efforts there. And, that's just not me. Like, I'm not trying to be an actress here. I'm not trying to win any awards. And this is just like not my scene. And I couldn't do it. And then as a result of that, felt horribly inadequate. Felt like I let Jehovah down. I let my family down. I felt like I was an embarrassment to my family. I had a little nephew who was a little superstar in the hall. He was young, but, handled the mics and went out in service and was like, well looked upon. And then he had this big old loser aunt that couldn't even join the ministry school. So I always felt like really inadequate and bad about myself for falling so incredibly short in so many areas. I just really was awkward out in service. And, when they try to push you into moving forward in certain areas. And whenever I personally am pushed into something that I don't want to do or I'm not comfortable doing, they say, oh, well, Jehovah will kick in and his Holy Spirit, and, you'll do fine and he'll help you, say what needs to be said. But that wasn't the case with me. When I was pushed into saying prayers at Bible studies and when I didn't want to do it, or knocking on a door when you know, I wasn't feeling it. I always stuttered and stammered and lost my thought, and I was not a smooth operator, and I was not schmoozing anyone at any doors. I was just, if anything, they probably just felt sorry for me. They were probably like, "Oh my God, this poor woman." But anyway, so it never worked to my benefit when I tried to step out of my comfort zone and rely on the Holy Spirit and Jehovah to get me through whatever in a graceful, meaningful way, because it just didn't happen. So there was that. So anyway, I just really didn't do well in that area. But today is different. I really went off on a little rant there. But today is different. If I was called up on the stage to the church that I attend, I don't think I would have a problem with that. I really don't. I don't think I would sweat it in the least, because I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm confident with the relationship that I have, and I can hold my head up high. I feel loved and wanted by the God that I serve, and I didn't then. So, huge positive since leaving the organization. Another area is just in my personal relationship. Sometimes you have to lose to gain, and I lost family, and man, that killed me, leaving this organization. But there were a lot of rough moments, and from where I was to where I am now. But I have a relationship. He's actually a YouTuber, Larry Gonzalez, and I have a relationship with Larry that I am extremely happy with. Such a beautiful soul. Check out his channel where he shares his stories in the organization, and I just fell completely in love with him and just love his beautiful heart. And so, in coming out of the organization, one of the losses was a 28-year marriage. And I realize now that I'm in a new relationship that where I am now is so rich and liberating in so many ways, because I'm not confined by rules and regulations. I'm allowed to be the person that I am, and that not only being allowed to be who you are, but being appreciated for it is like mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. To have trust in your relationship, and a lot of it, a lot of the distrust in my first marriage was fabricated, because it wasn't that he didn't trust me, but he didn't trust Satan to try and trip me and snag me, and instead of where I am now, where he's confident in the person that I am, confident in the God that we serve. Whereas before, it was just always, everything always came from a place of fear. And and now, you know, it's the total opposite, and it's just another big plus. I'm just really happy where I stand in my personal relationships. Um, and also my friends.